Kate and Kelly, and this week I am doing something either excellent and a super smart idea, or I'm doing something stupid. We will find out together over the next 7 days. If you have watched my TBR video, I am reading quite a lot of dark academia books in September. The heart was drawn to an academic setting for a fair percentage of my intended TBR. So my plan is that I'm going to read and finish Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. And this is quite a big book. It's 620 pages. As you can see, I have actually started it during my lunch break today. I only read 20 pages because I was eating soup and didn't want to spill soup on my book. That's the reason there. But this book comes to me so highly recommended, and it's so hard, you know, when you get a recommendation for a book and you don't want to have such high hopes going in, but I've kind of got high hopes going in. And of the 20 pages that I read, I loved, and I didn't want to go back to work when I finished my lunch break, but I had to because I've got to pay bills. And I know I've only read a teeny tiny bit and it's not enough to really get, you know, an opinion formed of the book, but I've loved the tiny little snippet that I have read so far. I have read about Flo and Clara, their demise, which sounds horrific. I am allergic to bees or wasps. Nobody remembers in my family which one, so I live in constant fear of both. So the fear of the wasps was real for me while reading this. And I'm so excited to see what happens in this book. I know I've only read a teeny bit. So if you don't know what this book is about, it is about Brookhaunt's School for Girls, which is a prestigious private school where some grisly deaths have happened. And there is a plan to make a horror film about the school and the fact that people think that the school is cursed because of the multiple deaths that have taken place there. And I'm so excited. I think it would be fair to guess that this is going to have multiple timelines, which is something I love. And I'm in. I also didn't realise that this author wrote The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which I absolutely loved. So I'm so excited going into this. And also there's pictures. So in a book this big, I'm excited about that. I will report back when I have read more than 20 pages and actually can give some sort of opinion, but based on what I've read so far, I feel like I have a contender for my book of the month, which is also the first book that I'm reading, so I will report back. So it's Saturday and I had plans that I was going to vlog Monday to Sunday, and then, you know, work happened, so I didn't. So it's Saturday and I am halfway-ish through this book. I finished part 1 and so far I have met all of the sort of the cast, if you will, and I've met the historical victims and I've learned about the book that has been written about them, which has been turned into the horror film. And I've met the cast who are in the horror film, and some strange things have been occurring and it just feels so haunting. I can really I feel like they're being watched and they're being followed, and I want to know what happens next. It's been a while since I've read a book that I enjoy so much that I just want to stop doing everything that I need to do in my life to just sit and read. And this is it. I mean, realistically that maybe happened in like July, but this I'm loving this. I love the characters. So far the characters that I've met are Clara and Flo, who are back in ye olde days. of the early 1900s, and they were the first victims of the curse. And I really like them. As the book is going on, I'm really getting to know those characters a lot better, and sort of the characters are actually the other way, if that makes sense. So the character that I thought was Clara is actually Flo, and Flo, how I thought Flo was going to be is actually how Clara is, which I love that. And I've also met Merritt, who is the author in the current day who has written a book about Clara and Flo. And she's a bit of an odd duck in that she's quite socially awkward, and she feels like she's maybe been a little bit isolated. So I absolutely love all of her dialogue. She has no filter, which I love. I've met Audrey and Harper, who are playing Clara and Flo in the movie adaptation. I love Audrey. She is the daughter of a sort of scream queen, and I really like the dynamic that she has with her mother. She just kind of seems like a relatively normal person who is just kind of a bit taken aback to be involved in this film. Harper is, I mean, I think we've all fallen in love with Harper. All that confidence and swagger, and posting up on social media anytime she goes anywhere with, you know, geotags so that fans can pop along. I feel like she very much feels like probably an amalgamation of a whole bunch of actresses that I don't know. So in the first part, we've really learned about the history and why people are thinking that the school has been cursed, the film, but also we're learning, I'm reading it, you as well if you're reading it too, but I have learned about more of the history of Clara and Flo. I've also learned a whole lot about Brookhaunts and the dynamics there, and the head teacher and the relationships that she has, and it's very sort of giving me little bits of historical fiction, which isn't usually my bag. But I mean, this book, a lot of it is set in early 1900s, so it was going to have historical fiction, but I really am enjoying those elements more than I thought I would. I thought I would still like them, but I'm not reading the historical bits and just sort of hoping it's going to catch up to modern day. I'm in for the ride, and I'm loving absolutely everything so far. My plan this weekend is to finish the book. I've got about 300, just under 300 pages left, which I think is doable. Although I've got a whole bunch of errands that I need to run today, and I don't want to, but needs must. So I'm gonna go and do them, and then try and remember to film. I'm back. My trip to the post office was successful, and I picked up lunch. So what more could I ask? I also went to the library. I had to drop off some loans and resist the urge so much to take out some new library books, because I've got goals. I've got goals for this month, and I am going to struggle to make those goals. So I can't be adding new books to my list. So while I was out at the post office, I received some post at home, and I got my copy of The Dragon's Promise from Waterstones. And it's got the sprayed edges, and I was meant to get this book a little while ago, but it was held up because of the shipping issues, I think. I do still have another one or maybe two books that are delayed, so I don't even know when I'm expecting books. They will show up when they show up. But I was lucky enough to get an ARC of this book, so I'm okay about this being late because I've already read it and I already love it. So I only read another 100 pages today, and a tragedy has occurred. I have learned a life lesson, a very valuable life lesson, of never eating sushi while reading a book that you love, because I spilled soy sauce on my book. I don't know if it'll come up on the screen, but there's a little line here of my soy sauce. I tried to wipe it off. that was stupid. That doesn't work. So now I have soy sauce on my book. And I'm just thinking that the more I read it, the more it'll eventually just wear off. That's a thing. So I'm so sad. I was so sad about my poor little book. But I'm now on page 457 and I want to climb into this book. I want to climb into this book and I want to wear it as my skin and just always have this book on me. Maybe not like a skin, that's a bit creepy. Maybe like a cape. Yeah, like a lovely fashionable cape. I love, 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 loving this book absolutely so much. And I'm so grateful to my friend Amanda for recommending this to me. And yeah, so far, I'm having even more of a backstory to the head teacher of Brookhaunts and her past and her relationship with the school. And I'm finding out more about the people who work at the school, the people who work at the sort of land around the school, and just more about the curse. And what I'm loving is that I don't know what the curse is or if there is a curse, but it just feels like there's something, and it's just such a sort of like a creepy kind of book, but it's still so light, and the way that this is written is just exquisite. The writing style is just so conversational and just so beautifully descriptive. Like, I'm not a gardener. I've got absolutely no interest in greenhouses and orangeries, but I want to go to the greenhouse in this book. It sounds magical. So this is making me like things that I don't like. I don't really care about plants. Not that I don't care about them, but you know, I can't keep them alive. I'm not a gardener. But this is just making me want to just go there. I want it to be real. I want this to be a real place that I can go and visit and just experience the sort of ghostliness and haunted building. And as I'm saying this, that sounds absolutely terrifying. I don't want to go somewhere that's haunted, but I kind of do if it's this book. It's the right kind of sort of haunting because it's not scary. If it's making me think and it's making me wonder, and I have absolutely no idea. I've only got 200 pages left and I don't know what's gonna happen, or I don't think I've had all the deaths. Have I had all the deaths yet? No. So on the blurb, don't believe I've given any spoilers, but me of editing land will pop up a thing if there are spoilers. That's a note to self. I don't think I have made spoilers. I can edit them out if I have. But in the blurb, it tells me that 3 more grisly deaths followed. I haven't had 3 more grisly deaths. There's gonna be grisly deaths. Oh, also, so this book is told kind of through a narrator, and I don't know who the narrator is. And at the beginning, you are told that you'll find out who she is. And I've got no idea. I have no clue who this narrator is and no clue what's going to happen. All I know is I love this book and I just want to live with this book forever and ever. Just, it's like nothing I've read before. And I read a lot of dark academia and I read a lot of witty prose. And this is just giving me everything I wanted. I love all the characters. I'm so invested in each and every one of them. And I love the 20th century sort of school environment. That's just something that's so nostalgic. So many books, films that I loved were set in boarding schools. So that is a setting that's just so nostalgic and like makes me want to read it. And I absolutely love that I don't feel like I know that much about the school other than that it's cursed. I know about the grounds of the school, but not the actual school, which I'm realizing just now. But I'm still okay with that. I love this book so much. But I have to go and do other things, so I can't just sit and finish it. Which makes me annoyed. So my plan is I'm going to finish it tomorrow. I kind of need to go for a walk because I haven't gone on a walk for a really long time. I did go outside yesterday and today, so I have been out. I just haven't been for a walk. So I might go and take a little stroll around the university campus and just live my dark academia best life without the haunting and without the wasps. And I continue to love it. I hope the last 200 pages are just as magical as the first 450, because I cannot see this book as it stands right now. I cannot see me giving it less than 5 stars. It's going to have to do something, it's going to have to do one of the things that I absolutely hate in a book for me to not. I mean, could it go down to 4? I don't know. It's going to have to do something awful for it to not get a good rating for me. And now I kind of feel like, have I found my favourite book of the month so far? And it's my first book. That's kind of lovely. Maybe. I don't know. I'm rambling. All I know is I love this book and I want to finish it, but I have to do life things. And I wish I didn't. I'll report back tomorrow. Happy Sunday! So I have finished it and I loved it. I loved it so much. I tabbed it. And I know I say it a lot. Oh, that soy sauce stain. It's not good. Cover that. I know I say it a lot, but I really am not somebody who usually tabs books. So for me to tab a book, I mean, I used a whole stack of tabs. I don't know what a collective term for a pack of tabs for books is, but I used a whole stack of those for this book. And mainly at the beginning, I just sort of started marking character introductions that I thought, well, I say I thought were going to be useful, but the footnotes told me that I needed to remember who those characters were. So I tabbed those, and then I ended up just tabbing some of my favourite sort of bits, witty bits or scary bits, and oh, I love this book. And I know that I've pretty much spent all of this vlog just saying I loved the book, but I did. But I'm gonna tell you why, because I kind of need to explain myself. I don't need to, but it's nice to. This book kind of ticked so many boxes for me of things that I enjoy in a book. I love multiple points of view, which I don't suppose I didn't have multiple points of view. I had an omnipotent narrator, but I got to see things from other people's point of views. So I think that counts. I had lots of different time periods, or I had 2 different time periods that the book jumped between, and I really loved that. But I do feel like having the changes between the sections in modern day and sections in the early 1900s, I feel like they were put together in such a really good way. So something would happen in one time period and then we'd go to the next period and suddenly that would be linked, or something would be like a callback to something earlier. I'm trying hard not to spoil it, but I love that. And it really it felt so, everything was intertwined, and the book was just like a gothic masterpiece. I've said before, and I'll probably say it forever, I'm not good with scary books, but I do like a gothic tale. And I know that gothic stories are scary, but I feel it's a different kind of scary. And that's something that I do enjoy, because with a gothic story, I've got the gorgeous, or maybe not gorgeous, but I've got the at least haunting and creepy setting. So in this, I've got Brookhaunts, which is a prestigious school, which is kind of remote, and there's a whole forest. Forests are creepy, but I love a book in a forest. And there's a whole manor called Spite Manor, and I loved hearing about how that even came to existence. So the setting of the story, even both in current day and in the past, was just perfect. It was very spooky, and even if nothing was happening, you could totally find yourself getting convinced that there was something happening. And I really enjoyed trying to find out, was there something supernatural at foot? Was there somebody playing with people? Or was it all in their heads? And honestly, reading the book, it could have been all of the above. I felt like the entire atmosphere was just so haunting. And I loved the way that the grounds almost felt like they were coming to life. I feel like my healthy fear of wasps has been, maintained, because the wasps, they were really just taking center stage in a lot of scenes. I loved the characters, even though I don't know if I could be friends with them all, but I could definitely read a whole series about these characters. There were so many points when the trio were together that it just felt almost like a dream, and there were points when I didn't know if things were actually happening or if they were happening in their heads. And that just, I love when a book makes me sort of question the reality of what I'm reading. I think my favourite parts of the book were the historical sections. And that's not to say I didn't enjoy the modern day chapters, because I found it really interesting learning about the making of the film and the way that the production felt like it was almost cursed. And I really enjoyed that. I think I would have loved this film, but for me, it was all about the historical sections. I would have loved to have known more about the Plain Bad Heroine Society and maybe met a few more people that were in it, but I was okay with the limited amount that I got of those characters, because I got so much more of Libby and Alex, and I loved their story possibly the most. I would have loved a little bit more, because I'm greedy when I like a book. I want more. I thought that this book was just, when I finished reading yesterday, I had about 200 pages left. So in those 200 pages, so much happened. And I feel like so many of my questions were answered, and so many questions I didn't know I had were also answered. But I feel like this book was just absolutely just wild. I could not have predicted anything that happened in it. I didn't see anything that happened. I didn't see it coming. I was just surprised pretty much throughout. And it's one of those books that I wanted to spend the day reading it. I have purchased the Mary MacLean book because I had never heard of Mary MacLean ever, but she was a young woman who had written a book that kind of took the 1900s society by storm, or the young women of that society, and it just felt like everything surrounded that book. So I have bought myself a copy of that book, and I fully intend to reread Plain Bad Heroines. I want to reread it already, but I've literally just finished it. But when I do reread it, I'm going to pair it with Mary MacLean's book and probably annotate and be that person who annotates a book, which I don't really do. I think that if you enjoy a book that takes you on a roller coaster ride and keeps you guessing from start to finish and has gothic vibes, I think that this book could definitely be for you. I feel like future rereads of this book should maybe be timed around like October. I feel September was a good time to read it because the schools have all gone back, but this book is creepy, and creepy books feel like October reads. There were a few points where this book got scary for wussy me, and I found myself getting really, quite creeped out, but in a good way. Highly recommend this book. I loved it. I, of course, gave it 5 stars because that is the maximum that I was able to give it. But if I could give it more, then I would. And I don't know what to read next, because how do I follow on from Plain Bad Heroines? I loved it. That's something I'm going to have to think about. But for now, it's Sunday night and I have to go and have my Sunday night bath because that's what I do. If you've read this book, let me know how you got on with it in the comments, and if you haven't read it, let me know if you think it's something that you might enjoy. I hope you would. Thanks for watching. Bye!